I feel like I'm very on top of my shit today. Like I just clicked those buttons in the right order so quickly and didn't even have to think about it. I'm very proud of myself.
That's how you're on top of your shit. You literally just click the button correctly.
I feel like especially sharp right now, you know?
Good.
Like it's nice and early. I had my coffee. I've already done an interview today and I'm on my game.
Are you rubbing it in because I'm literally as lagged as I could be right now and just
honestly, I didn't do it on purpose, but as I started saying it, I'm like, well, shit.
Literally Vegas to 2 days in Los Angeles, one of those days being an AEW event, and then coming right to New Orleans.
I mean, it's all fun. It's all fun stuff, but it's all stuff that's going to burn you out.
Oh yeah, I don't burn out ever. You know that.
Everyone burns out eventually. You need some sleepy time.
No.
You need some sleep.
I don't know what you're
saying. We have a lot to get to today.
Sure.
First,
I see
super chat from Mike. Justice for Timothy. Should I know who Timothy is?
I'm blanking on the reference. So, Mike, explain very quickly, and we will.
Maybe I've just watched too many things lately that I'm losing character. You know how long I had a conversation about it with someone last night, and do you know how long it took me to remember the name Bill Denbrough? Like a book I've read more than once, 2 movies that I've watched, and a miniseries I've watched God knows how many times, and I could not think.
Yep. People are saying that is The Boys reference, which is hilarious because I've seen the first 3 episodes of The Boys, and I am completely blanking on that.
Okay. I know what that refers to. What song? This is a great question, actually, Mike. What song would save you from Vecna's curse? I'll tell you what song will save me. You need to blast the main theme from Fear Street, and I will come right back to you.
That would pull you out, just hearing the main theme from Fear Street.
Right now, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of answers to this question. I could also say the main theme from Jurassic, obviously.
I want to say something like offbeat, but for me, knowing like my favorite music throughout my life, like it would be something like My Hero by fucking Foo Fighters or something. That would be what drags me out. Probably a Foo Fighters song.
I don't know. Sometimes when I'm thinking about this specific question, I don't necessarily think it's what the hottest thing on your list is right now, but maybe it is smarter to lean into an all-timer.
Because that's
maybe I should have picked a Gin Blossom song.
That's the whole point of like the song that saves you. Yeah, like the song that saves you is something that like you've listened to over and over again. It's that one comfort song. Like, so for me, that brings you back to like listening to Foo Fighters over and over again. Okay. And as much as I've learned so many new like favorite bands and stuff, it's the Foo's gonna always bring me back.
That's fair enough. All right, we have a super chat that'll bring us into the main topic. But before we get there, do you want to tell us what you're doing in New Orleans?
I am attending the Overlook Film Festival, which is my first film festival since 2019, I guess I would say. Because that was, Fantastic Fest 2019. And then I was like, oh, I can't wait to do all these things again next year. And then the things happened. And then we created Merri Hour, hilariously. But I'm here at Overlook. We're doing some film festival coverage. It's been a bumpier start than I expected. So we're trying to go movie heavy on the back half. And so far I've seen some like interesting things. Tonight is the Black Phone. So officially I can finally post something about the Black Phone after I see it here. And other little indie pickups so far. Nothing crazy. I saw something called She Will. Like it's a lot of IFC Midnight and Shudder releases that are here. So like it's stuff you'll be able to see. Oh, I did see Watcher though. So I saw Watcher.
How'd you like Watcher?
Yes, I liked Watcher. It was good. So hilariously, like the best thing I've seen so far here is Watcher at this point, and that's available to the public now. So like it's not even one of those things I have to say, I saw this great movie and you can't see it. No, Watcher's available, I think, in theaters and VOD. But in any case,
you might be right. I should probably
Micah Monroe, neat little, it's neat in a way that it is very much about a stalker, and it's very much about a woman in another country trying to figure things out, and someone just starts following her. And
she's great in that movie, because that movie is like, a fairly simple and streamlined premise that really like heavily rests on her shoulders and her ability to be able to sell it and to bring you into her character's mindset. And she does it very well.
Yeah, Burn Gorman, who you will recognize by face, maybe not by name, for those watching, but like just the perfect kind of, unfortunately for him, the perfect kind of creeper persona. So Burn does a really good job selling that as well, because it's not just it follows again. It's not one of those there's someone behind you at all times. Like there are altercations between Micah Monroe's character and Burn Gorman's character throughout, and that's the real messed up part. Like when they start talking, and you know he's being extremely creepy, but the way he's able just to explain things to other people, and the way the police and other men are just kind of like, you're being crazy. This guy is just happens to be everywhere you are. Like it really plays with your mind. The way that like it makes you believe certain characters and not believe, very good at that.
Burn Gorman's one of those ones that never gets the credit he deserves for all of his excellent work.
Burn is good.
All right. Speaking of people getting the credit they deserve, let's briefly talk about this title topic. And we won't get into Stranger Things spoilers. So if you're not fully caught up on the first 7 episodes of season 4, don't worry. We are just talking about Emmy chances right now. So I'll bring up Alexander's super chat first. So not to digress, Perri, but the person who needs an Emmy nomination the most that hasn't gotten one is Ray Seahorn. So I am actually betting that both Ray Seahorn for Better Call Saul and Sadie Sink for Stranger Things 4 get Emmy nominations. All right, so just to go back to the title briefly, Sadie Sink is she's so damn good in the role of Max in the entirety of Stranger Things. But I definitely do think that season 4, episode 4 might be one of my absolute favorite episodes of the entire show. That episode just left me in a puddle of such well-earned tears. And I think there's a lot of really good things happening in that episode, but it is largely because of Sink's performance in that episode. I think she has this like really brilliant ability to be moving Max's story forward in a reasonable way, but everything she goes through there also further highlights everything she's accomplished thus far in the series as an individual, bringing this character to life, but also as an excellent scene partner with great chemistry with everyone around her. It's just the end of episode 4 to me is a moment that lets her shine the most, but while shining a light on everything else that the show has done so successfully thus far. And I think she needs an Emmy nomination, and I think she might get it.
Has Stranger Things gotten Emmy considerations? Yes. So it has. Okay.
Yeah, let me just pull up specifically what. It's gotten a whole bunch of technical love. Why did I look up Wikipedia? That's not what I meant to do. I meant to go to
Wikipedia would have that,
where it lists it a little more clearly, but it has gotten some acting, and I know the ensemble has been honored before as well. So when it comes to Emmy wins, it looks like it has a win. It's got 7 wins, 1 for sound editing, and then it's got more for sound editing. More nominees. Another win for title design, title theme music, casting. My God, this deserves a casting nomination and win. Outstanding single camera picture editing, more sound, and that like it's got a slew of nominations for acting. Like Millie Bobby Brown's gotten one, David Harbour, but never a win for acting. And really even the acting nominations seem to be, or at least at the Emmys alone, seem to be just limited to the 2 of them, if I'm correct. I believe only the 2 of them have been nominated for their performances. But for me, Sadie Sink is running away with season 4 thus far, and she should get this nomination.
Nice. So I guess that was going to be my like kind of like hesitation. Knowing that they only kind of give it to Harbour and Millie Bobby Brown, I wonder if they'll actually look beyond in this season of Stranger Things. And also the time that has passed between Stranger Things being, super popular at the time and having 3 years pass. And we talked about how that kind of hurts a little bit, the hype, I guess I would say. So I don't know. Obviously, I've seen parts of this entire season. I haven't been able to sit down and watch it all in one giant swoop, but like, it was on the background for a long time, so I kept walking in and seeing random scenes. So what I did see of Sadie Sink's work, like I got to see where, she is processing what could be happening and, the way that is happening, and we're not really getting into it. So I'll leave it there. So I've seen nothing but great stuff from her. So I'm excited to see where that goes. I am hesitant though on really Stranger Things doing much at the Emmys though.
So here's a part of my theory on this. And admittedly, you guys know that I cover Oscar season and I do all those predictions every single year. So I know how that works quite well. This is going to be my first year going really heavy into Emmy predictions. So I do have a couple things to learn. I'm sure I'm going to make mistakes and have to have a better understanding about how that part of the industry works. But what I'm thinking is that the release strategy of Stranger Things 4 might serve its Emmy chance as well, because you've got volume 1 hitting before Emmy voting begins. And there's so much hype. And I know fan hype versus like industry and voter hype is different, but I do think that such significant fan hype could put a bigger spotlight on the show for voters, which is going to be helpful. But then on top of that, it's not something that's going to go away. It's like these episodes just came out and the final 2 episodes are coming out July 1st. We're going to be talking about Stranger Things 4 nonstop in that period of time. And do you know what happens in that period of time? Nomination voting for Emmys. So I do think that all that constant talk could wind up working in her favor and getting her the nomination. With the other potential nominees in that category, I'm thinking, I hope I remember my list here. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm thinking Julia Garner for Ozark is a lock. She's won for her role in that. Sarah Snook for Succession is probably a lock. She's been nominated for an Emmy for her work in that. And obviously Succession gets a whole lot of award season love all the time. Chung Ho-yeon from Squid Game, I think is probably in my mind a lock, maybe a little less so than the other 2, but she's close. She won the SAG award for her performance. So I think she's got a very good chance. Then here's where I bring back Alexander, because I think in Tracy 2 cases, 2 people are going to get honored because their work in the current seasons are really good, but their shows that are really popular are coming to an end. And that would be Ray Seahorn for Better Call Saul and also Chrissy Metz for This Is Us. So I think that those 2 are going to get some love. Then you have Patricia Arquette for Severance, because Patricia Arquette is an Emmy darling. She always
she's going to be able to get invited back. Yeah,
she always gets nominations, so I think that gives her a pretty good chance. I feel like I'm leaving someone off my list right now. Oh, I know who I'm leaving off: Christina Ricci for Yellow Jackets.
Oh,
I think she's going to get a nomination as well, and then I think Sadie Sink will get a spot as well.
So then I am not as up to date with Emmy. Like I don't really keep up with the Emmys and stuff like that. So Amanda Seyfried, that would be a mini series.
Different category, yeah.
Okay, so
this specifically is Best Supporting Actress in a Drama Series.
Drama series. Okay.
So there's a lot of acting award love to go around, which is
around to a lot.
It's overwhelming for predictions, but it's really exciting.
Because you can kind of have so many. Like literally, there's so many people you can put into contention for that. Okay.
And there's more nominations that'll go around. It's so cool.
Yeah, I'm again, this is my weak spot. Like movies I'm so movie heavy that you have more time to find when you're doing interviews and stuff like that for the TV and stuff. So I default to you in those graces.
I'm trying. Don't fully default to me yet, but I'm putting in the work to try to learn and get you guys some accurate predictions.
Yeah.
All right.
We also do have, there you go.
This one here from Matt. Matt, thank you so much for the super chat. Who were your favorite new characters in Stranger Things 4? I am obsessed with Eddie Munson.
Yeah. So from what I've seen a lot of Eddie. So I am equally obsessed with Eddie Munson. That is my new addition. Yes.
He is just so damn good in that role. And I said this in my review. I know that they've done this before where, we all fell in love with this group of friends in season 1. And it's like, how are you going to add a character to that group and actually make me love them as much? And, they've done it with Max and they've done it with Robin. But I don't know. It just seems like 4 seasons in, it's going to be even harder to do something like that. But something about Joseph Quinn's vibe in that role, it's a thing that's like you can't get enough of it. You want to keep spending time with this really big and like uniquely charming personality. So I absolutely adore him. And then one more shout out that I also gave in my review. I want to make sure I get the actor's name right. But now obviously I'm going through
the
entire crew. And man, I think his name is Mason Dye. I'm pretty sure it's Mason Dye. And I'm pretty sure he was in like another popular. Yeah, Mason Dye, who plays Jason Carver. He's like the captain of the basketball team and, you know, a bit of a bully.
Uh-huh.
He is very well cast in that role. And I feel like it can be quite the challenge to convince me that you can go from being the captain of the basketball team, commanding an audience full of high school students, to where he goes as the season progresses. But you know, he's got that ability to stand dead center in the middle of the screen, and I can understand why he gets the attention of certain people that he does the way he does as the story goes forward.
There's a funny little trailer bit going back to Eddie really quickly where I just rewatched the trailer for Stranger Things season 4. And there's a moment where you get Eddie and he is, so here's the thing. I don't know if it just hasn't happened yet or it's just not happening at all because it's not in season 4, but he's, you know, in the bad place, let's put it. And he's like standing atop this like rocky mountain and he's like playing guitar with like lightning bolts coming out of the guitar. And if we don't get that in the last 2 episodes, I'm gonna be so mad because it's such a good fucking shot. But that's why they're being very smart with Eddie, and like they are playing well with the character, and the performance is actually great. But the way they're playing in both the D&D to like the whole narrative, and they're also playing in his like heavy metal headbanger stuff as actually part of the narrative, not just these little character traits that are there to define him in a cheap way. That is why I'm so drawn to Eddie. Like they're actually doing a lot more with him than just a caricature, I would say.
I've been watching a lot of theory videos, and one of the ones that someone had the cast react to was the idea that Stranger Things actually isn't happening, and it's like just some big elaborate D&D game, and the end of the show will be them all older playing D&D together.
I absolutely adore that.
I don't think that's actually going to happen, but
that's not going to happen. But I love that.
You know, it's a fun thing to think about.
And like that's the kind of ending that would piss people off so immensely, but I would be so happy with it. Like, just you mean none of it's real? Like none of the stakes were real, blah 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 blah. But like to me, that would be incredibly imaginative. Like if that was all just a giant game they're playing and like an escape from reality, I would love that.
I think there's a way to do that it's actually earned and doesn't feel like a cheap gotcha at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because again, like it's tying in, like everything they're kind of telling in the story, like they keep working in those elements more and more, and the fantastical element would, you know, explain everything to like, how is this happening? Well, because it's just a game.
I'm torn on if I would even want that to happen, but
no, it's not going to. That is not going to.
I'm amused by the idea, though.
Yeah.
Super chat from Vincent. Saw you at Regal Theater, Perri, and love the boys. I appreciate you pointing that out. If anyone else sees me on the big screen, share a picture and tag What's Newbie, especially this week, because this week is when my Jurassic interviews are going to be running on the big screen, and that is very exciting to me. And I love the boys. Matt, do you love the boys?
I do love the boys. How
many episodes are available right now?
3, correct? 3. I believe 3. Because that was my review. It was just on the first 3.
Have you watched any more beyond that?
No, I will be taking it episode by episode. I got the first 3 done so I can get my review done, and have not revisited since. So I will be one by one from here on out.
All right. I want to be careful about what I say because I have seen the full season. But did you like what you've seen thus far? Give us a little review of the boys, episodes 1 through 3 of season 3.
Yes, I definitely like what I've seen so far. I will say that I am a huge fan of what The Boys does. I think I've said that multiple times, but like I'm in on all the bleakness. I'm in on all the bloodiness. And yes, I feel like The Boys is kind of like this one soured down note on humanity in a lot of times, but I think that's also what it does best. And, you know, that's what this show's calling card is. Like, we're going to get right back in the muck. And I think a lot of the points of contention I'm seeing so far in episodes 1, 2 through 3 of people who don't like it is like, well, we've just regressed back to what the show is. And it's just regressing back to the fact that like Butcher is just a violent brute, and any kind of storytelling advancements they did at the end of season 3. A lot of people are complaining that they kind of just retread, like, we're going back to basics, but I like that. I like that we're going back to basics because that's what the show does well.
Can I just clarify? Are you saying that people who have seen the full season think that by the end that
just episodes 1 through 3 so far?
Oh, okay. Well, there's a whole season. He needs a full season arc. Just have some patience and wait. People are real mad that I didn't dig into what I thought about Butcher in my review of the season. And it's just because when you have an ensemble this big and you're tempted to talk about so many characters, it's like whenever I do a review like that, I'll make myself some notes and I'll also just be saying whatever comes to my head on the spot. And usually what I put in the notes and whatever comes to my head are the things that made the biggest impression. Doesn't mean something that I didn't mention didn't make an impression or wasn't good. It was just those were the things that I felt most strongly about talking about. But without any spoilers, I like what they do with Butcher. And I think any retreading that's happening is important and necessary because it's a retreading with another complication added on top of it. And, sometimes you can't break a habit without re-experiencing that habit with a slightly new thing involved. And I think that's what they're doing. And I think they're doing it really well. But again, that being said, his arc was not the one that struck me most. Kimiko and Annie are the ones that stick out most for me this time around.
Yeah, 100%. And again, I just bring that up because the way that I see the boys and the way other people are responding to it going like, we're just doing the same thing again. I appreciate that because that's what I'm signing up for with the boys. Like someone mentioned the opening of season 3 premiere being like, well, that's quite an opening. Like it was. We're right back to it being extremely violent, extremely gruesome, and superheroes are pieces of shit. Like that, we get right back into the mold. And I guess why it's so jarring for some people is because at the end of season 2, we get the hope of Huey working with Victoria Newman, they establishing a government agency to keep the Supes in check. Like there is a little bit of hope that things will change for quote unquote the better. And where season 3 picks up is a year later. So all of that hope and all of that like good stuff, like Butcher going clean, everything they talk about, we don't see. So we just jump right back into season 3 beginning. Shit hits the fan immediately, and we go right back to literally like it's in the trailer, so I don't mind mentioning this. Like Huey says to Butcher, like violence is the only answer. Holy shit, you're right. We have to do this your way, and like it just going right back to being Butcher's way. Like I understand why people might have wanted at least like 2 episodes of, well, give us a little bit of what happens in between, but I don't. I want exactly what they've shown us with maximum gore, maximum violence, and like. I dig the cynicism because that is what we need to see sometimes. Like let those other shows take their time and like dance around the obvious hope that will go away. I like the boys because they kind of just say, fuck you, we're doing things our way no matter what.
The official synopsis says it. They go through a period of calm between seasons. I mean, do you really want to see these characters in a period of calm and routine? Like you might think you do, but probably not. I think it was better to probably kick it off at an 11. In describing this, though, I mean, this is obviously fresh on my brain because next week Jurassic World Dominion comes out. I really do greatly appreciate storylines that focus on human beings making the same mistakes over and over, and how interesting it could be to see how someone falls into that kind of routine. But every single time you make that mistake, hopefully you learn something new every single step of the way, because that kind of, mistake is either really tough or for some others or for some other corporations out there, impossible to break. So I think that's what this series is getting at too, like making those same mistakes, but showing who learns what from those mistakes along the way and differentiating them that way.
I think this is a really interesting one too, because if we're talking about Emmy nominations, like
yes, I'm glad you brought that up.
Starr is like, and again, I've just seen 1 through 3 and what he is doing in 1 through 3 and going even deeper into the psychosis of Homelander than we've seen in the first 2 seasons. Like those 3 episodes have so many breaking points alone. I really do think if we're talking about throwing in Emmy nominations for like genre work and we're talking about Stranger Things, then Anthony Starr needs to be in the conversation for Homelander because he is so good at being so bad.
I have said that for 3 seasons in a row now. He's so good. And I think it is so, anyone who tries to like, boil it down to like, oh, he's just doing a shtick. He's playing like a hyper violent evil dude. And it's all about going big and there's not much else to it. Like that's actually not the case. Like I feel like so much of the entertainment value of Homelander comes through his ability to like go really big with these extreme characteristics and these wildly inappropriate decisions he makes. But one thing the show does really well that he digs into especially well is literally everything Homelander does comes from like somewhat of a human, not relatable but understandable place. Like, as terrible as the decisions are that he makes, you always know why he's making them and why he's become the type of person who would make that decision. And I think that winds up making the character especially robust and also more frightening every single step of the way. When those decisions are justified, or at least justified from his perspective, that is like a horrifying reality to imagine.
Doing the work of showing him as a child, as a test tube baby, whatever you want to call it, like doing the work of showing of that trauma and what that caused in his upbringing, and how, we are getting really close to him finally just going full God form in like season 3, and him admitting out loud that, like, whether he's looking at Stan Edgar or looking at somebody else, Starlight, like, it doesn't matter who he's talking to, and being like, I could literally just with the snap of my finger eradicate New York City. And like, I can do that. And he's getting so like, that is what the season is pushing. And that's what the brink they're like pushing that they might get to. So I am just so enthralled by what he's doing in that performance. And, the trailer moment, again, I'll just talk in trailer moments and not go into spoilers, obviously, but like when you get the the shot of all of his interviews overlapping and all of the dialogue is exactly the same, and the way that they're pushing like the Vought agenda, and his eyes are just like glazed over, just staring at the screen, saying the same words, like that alone is such good performance acting. Like, he is selling 100% that he is saying the exact right thing that will get people over, but he is also with his eyes telling you that he doesn't believe a goddamn word of it, and that like this is going to come back to haunt him.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing Anthony Starr is real good at. He can have a certain look on his face, and it's like he's saying one thing, but deep down, you know what the wheels in his head are turning and making
So
him
messed
think.
up. But
It
and
really
there's just, oh my
is.
god, yeah. There's, the more I talk about it, the more I like season 3, and just like the new additions. Obviously, we get Jensen Ackles, we get
He's
Sean Patrick
great.
Flannery, Laurie Holden. Like, all of them are in the first 3 episodes, so you get these wonderful moments meeting them. But yeah, the Kimiko stuff too is really good, of seeing her becoming more and more herself, in the way that she, has these moments with characters, and she's like relating to Ryan the most, and Ryan is just like has this really open conversation with Kimiko, and he's like, do you ever regret having your powers? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. And there's this really nice thing there, and that brings us into V24.
Who's your favorite character thus
Oh
far?
god, that's so hard.
I love asking that question. I can't help it.
No, that's fine, because it makes me actually, because like I've never actually thought about who my favorite character in that is, because it's hard to say, like, do I say Homelander, because like I don't like him, but my god,
No,
like,
you
it's the
could
best
say
performance.
that.
Yeah, but like, if I'm really
We'll
trying
know
to
where
think,
it's coming from if you say that.
I think they're doing really good work with Huey. I genuinely enjoy the way that he is so conflicted but also realistic. And that's something that comes from the comics, and that's like a big part of like Huey in the comics, is he's always the one that's the grounded force, but he's always the one that, like, he'll go ahead with it eventually. It just takes him a while to get there. And I think they're doing a good representation of that here, in the way that like season 2 is about him combating that, and just combating Butcher, and being like, you are an evil bastard. I want to do things the right way. We're going to try to. And like, and then every episode he's covered in blood, shaken, rattled, and like trying to like figure himself out. But season 3, like, it's such a huge moment when he goes to Butcher, and he's like, yeah, no, we have to do things your way. And the way that like the dynamic just flips immediately, I think they are doing a lot with his arc. So okay. I think I'll go there, just to avoid saying Homelander again.
I'm a big Jack Quaid fan, so I like that choice. I think I'm going to go with Annie, though. And I'm not going to go into depth, because I think that is in large part due to like her full series arc thus far. But I don't know, when the show first started, I was loving Erin Moriarty's performance and everything, but I just didn't think that character would wind up making as big of an impression on me as some of the others do. But watching her navigate life in the Seven, and how to work with Vought, and what having powers means to her, and what she can do with them, I found her arc really inspiring in that sense. So I am going to pick her as my favorite.
Yeah, I think that, and like they're almost a package deal in a way. Not to say like you need them both because they're both doing great things on their own, but the way they are developing both of them, they've given them these like, very different but traumatic paths, and they're both trying to get through them the best they can. And also, I mean, bringing Chase Crawford back, and as much as his character is a piece of shit, like Chase Crawford
so
is doing that
role too.
Yeah,
I am just like endlessly amused by him as the Deep.
It's just such a farce and it's such a parody, but he still finds a way to like find the littlest bit of empathy in all of it. Like, again, he's a piece of shit. We know that, but like the moments where he breaks down, like Crawford does a good job.
He's working that role exactly how he needs to. I'm very impressed by his work throughout the series, but also the season.
I just love when he gets introduced back and Homelander just puts him right in his place.
Yep. What else do we have to talk about? What else is doing, Matt? What's up?
There's a parade outside right now. I can just hear marching band. Like, well, it's New Orleans, so you can literally make a parade whenever you want.
Are you gonna take a shot of absinthe in my honor?
Oh God, maybe later. It's only 1:30.
I didn't even take that shot when we were there. I knew it was gonna make me nauseous. I was smart. And I was even smarter a couple hours later because we got back to our hotels at 4 or 5 in the morning, and I ordered in chicken fingers, as any respectable person does at 5 in the morning there.
It's been an interestingly different experience this time at Overlook in New Orleans because, like, obviously it's our first festival back, and it's kind of like not as attended as it was. Like, I think we had a really good group here, and there were a lot of people. And here, like, it's just a smaller festival, smaller everything. So, it's been exploring New Orleans, but at the same time, like, I don't know, just the last 2 years makes me more tired in general now and stuff like that. So, like, we haven't had a good 4:00 night in an absinthe bar yet.
I get it. We got to bounce back. It's like slowly pacing yourself to get to that level again.
Yeah.
I feel like seeing AEW live gave me a little kick in the ass the other night. Now I want to go to live events all the time.
Well, we can keep that coming.
What a cool fucking sport. It's so cool. Like, I have a greater appreciation for it and for the athleticism involved, being able to see it live with my own eyes. And, admittedly being able to see some of the seams, I think made me appreciate it more, like the artistry that actually goes into it. It really, like, it's one hell of a production.
Well, and because, like, the wrestlers out there are beating the crap out of each other, but like you do see how, when you see it up close and you see how they are very meticulous with the moves they're doing and like how they have to be on par. I mean, so did you see the most recent thing trending last night with CM Punk?
What was it?
So he's injured. He came out. Yeah. So he came out and said that he is injured. And as for anyone who doesn't know, very quickly, CM Punk won the AEW World Championship. He became the new title holder very short when we were in Vegas, like literally when we were in Vegas last weekend. And as of last night, he announced that he is injured and that he has to go get surgery. So that means there will be an interim champion and he will get the title when he comes back. But like how devastating is that to, like, he's just gotten his title and he has to go now for surgery because of injuries. Like, that is.
When did the injury happen?
It had to have happened sometime recent, I guess. I mean, we were there watching him on Wednesday when he went to jump off the top rope and he fell. I don't know if that was it. Who knows? But it also, there is a conspiracy theory that it could be all a work. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, it's been very exciting. So I'm glad you're enjoying. Now you have to start watching the regular stuff.
I'm very tempted. I definitely got more caught up in like the storyline element of it, being able to see it live for some reason. So I feel like I've got that mentality of like certain people stuck out to me live, and now I need to see where they go when I can't watch it live. So
I mean, Freddie Prinze Jr. was sitting in front of us, and that's because Freddie Prinze Jr. A, loves this sport, and B, as Amelia said, used to write for WWE. Like, he was a writer on those storylines. So like, so much goes into it, and it's so much fun to kind of follow along.
Yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr., Macaulay Culkin, and Paul Walter Hauser were all sitting right in front of us. I wanted to be a real creep and tap someone on the shoulder, but I wasn't doing it.
No, but Paul Walter Hauser, like I said, he's been on the camera at AEW before because like he loves going. I don't know if he's WWF or WWE too, and like has been for a while, but like he loves AEW and he's been there before, so I love that.
Good for him. MJF I didn't even know this person existed. And then he took that microphone and he gave that speech. And I'm like, dude, you know how to work a mic and I like you.
And he's a Long Islander. I told you.
I know.
He's a Long Islander.
The fact that he's a Long Islander was definitely going to have him win me over faster than some of the others. So that worked in his favor quite a bit. That
was a massive spot. That was so good. There was what I read and what I read online and was that kind of backstage. People weren't expecting him to win the crowd over with that many cheers at the end. Oh. So it was kind of this thing where that was supposed to really cement him as the bad guy. But the thought backstage was kind of like, wait, did we just make AEW look bad because everyone likes MJF now because of what he said? Fuck, oh no. But obviously that'll play into the story.
Yeah, that's kind of exciting to me.
Well, I'm glad you had fun.
Big win. I'm so glad you guys have encouraged me to get into it, and it was worth every single penny I spent on that ticket. I'm so happy I went with you guys.
There was a super chat
from Harvs. I'm glad you're bringing this up. Have either of you watched RRR yet? Insane action musical, probably second best film I've seen this year after Everything Everywhere All at Once. I didn't even know this movie existed. And then all of a sudden it started flooding my timeline. Have you watched it?
I haven't yet, only because it hit Netflix and has been playing in theaters on its second run while we've been traveling the whole time. So I have not had a chance yet.
Why wasn't it promoted at all? If it's this good, how is it only first hitting my radar after it comes out?
Because that's most of Indian cinema. I mean, how many Indian films do you actually get in your timeline when they first come out?
I feel like the most basic level of press should be at least one email blast, because it's a Netflix release, you said, right?
No, it's not a Netflix release. It just happened to come onto Netflix after it got popular, I believe. I think Netflix did the same thing of seeing everybody react to it and going,
this makes a little more sense. But I feel like even when the ball is in Netflix's court, if they acquire something like that has that much hype already behind it, it would behoove them to send out an email blast saying, we have acquired this and you could see it on this day. And we even some sort of hypey blurb that, it was a huge smash hit here, and here. And now you could watch it on our platform. How is that not a thing?
Because how many other things do they not do it for? I mean, that's just Netflix. Literally, you're describing
with
Netflix
every
problem.
Word that dribbles out of my mouth. There's a million examples that say this is why what you're saying is not happening.
You have a billion examples already as to why Netflix would do that. But I mean, that is the thing. It's the stigma of international cinema where it's legitimately how many Indian films come out, I don't know, maybe every week even, or whatever you want to say, but they don't get the attention until the right person says something about it. And then the right person says something about it. And then somebody else says, and that's how the word of mouth spreads. So this, I mean, RRR is a tremendous use of the example of what the good that can come from talking about your favorite movies. Josh Hurtado has actually been pretty integral in that. And he's ingrained in kind of Fantastic Fest and stuff, but he's a huge advocate for Indian cinema, especially. So Josh Hurtado has actually been helping basically curate its second run, this encore, whatever you want to call it, run for RRR. He's hugely involved. So he's been an advocate so long for these types of films. So to see RRR kind of finally break through and him be able to kind of show that, it's a huge deal, because again, for every RRR, there are 70 other titles that he's promoted and that nobody listens to, because it's well, I don't want to watch, Indian cinema or whatever. It's not my kind of blah, blah, blah. But then you see RRR and it's fucking everyone. I don't understand.
Maybe I'll download it and watch it on my flight back to New York, because isn't it 3+ hours? So by the time I watch it, the flight will be over.
Yeah.
Ish. It comes with an intermission though, right?
It does. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Sounds like a good 4.5 hour plane flight movie to me.
That is true. On so the dubbing is weird on Netflix if you do watch it.
I mean, can you take it off?
I don't think so. I think it's only available.
Really?
Yeah. The Netflix version is a weird dub.
Huh.
It's a weird dub.
I'm surprised that they force you into watching it that way.
And it's a dub of the Tamil version or something like that. So I forget the exact. I'd have to go look it up again. But the dubbing is a little interesting on the Netflix one. So if you do have a chance to see it in theaters, by all means. Just hopefully it won't happen where like the Grove played it actually in Los Angeles and they lost the second half of the movie for the audience. So they only played the first half and the second half just wasn't there. And it got basically everyone just got sent home.
Oy vey.
Yeah.
That is rough.
Yeah. Original language is this for the film. But like, and the dub is just like, a different, it's interesting. But yeah, can't wait.
I'm gonna check it out. What else is happening, Matt? What's happening in the world of film and television? I'll tell you, a lot of stuff is happening next week. I could still talk about Miss Marvel from a social element.
You're allowed to.
Social embargo has lifted. Yeah. I've already said that I've liked it quite a bit. My favorite. I saw it. The reason I'm bringing it up again is because I went to the premiere the other night and. Like I feel like a jerk for saying this because it's not like everyone's going to have this opportunity, but I will say that it was really, really cool being able to see it on the big screen with an audience filled with people who were just so enthusiastic to see a version of themselves on that screen in the MCU. Like the atmosphere in there was absolutely electric, and to be able to, share in that to a degree, just like it really, really made the experience. So that was really cool. But before having that experience, I still really liked the show. I think the casting is absolutely exceptional. I love the way that they're working Kamala's art into the whole look of the show. I think it gives it a really like different and fun and clever vibe that's playing really well for me. But there's certain elements of the VFX and the production design. I think the phrasing I used on Twitter was I could see the seams showing. So that part about it is a little disappointing, but I think it still works great. And I think it works great because of the charm of everyone involved and the look of the show from that artwork. So I will have a full review up on maybe it's the 7th or 8th, something like that. There's so many embargoes lifting next week, Matt. I can't keep track of them all off the top of my head.
I'm just trying to keep up. Not even like I can't even keep track of what's coming next week. Like I'm just trying to keep up with like I got to watch my new episode of The Boys. I got to watch a few movies for review and like wrap up Overlook Festival. So yeah, so I understand. Do
you want to know how behind I am?
Go ahead.
MK Songbird. I can't even give you Obi-Wan thoughts because I haven't watched any of it yet. I have like a semi-decent excuse other than being incredibly busy, but the week that the first 2 episodes came out was my cousin's wedding. So I feel like I knew that I was not watching those 2 episodes. And now it's just about getting my work done and then going back and binging them all. But I will have thoughts soon. Do you have thoughts, Matt?
So I had no real hype for this show coming into it. It's just me not being the biggest Star Wars fan in general. And me just kind of being like, cool, another show about Obi-Wan, whatever. That is not because I don't like it. It's just I had no affinity towards it. And I can tell you that giving me a show about little Leia and Obi-Wan has been like very good so far. I didn't expect to kind of care about it as I do, but now I do. And because it's given me something that I wasn't expecting at all. And I really like the way they paired, Ewan and the actress who plays little Leia. I think they have such a good dynamic and chemistry. Like it's really like a top-notch kind of thing. So just watching them alone, I'm in on this show that I didn't care about until now. That is the best way I can put it.
I'm very eager to jump into it. Important question for anyone who doesn't know.
Yes, I apologize. I am streaming on Wi-Fi from an Airbnb, so I cannot control the quality of it, unfortunately.
Have you seen this one?
No, actually, funnily enough, so Overlook yesterday.
I'm gonna do show and tell. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm still here though. I swear.
That's fine. So funnily enough, I'm at the Overlook Film Festival in New Orleans, and our first movie got canceled yesterday. Apparently, that can happen at film festivals. Technical difficulties, and we weren't allowed to see the movie we were gonna see. But they showed Crimes of the Future instead. That was our kind of like consolation prize for not being able to see what we had shown up for the world premiere for. I still couldn't see it though, for like other reasons of you're there for a block and your movie is so long that you're going to see. And then you show us like an hour and 50-minute David Cronenberg movie. And I'm like, no. So I still haven't seen it yet because again, I've just been traveling and I haven't been able to catch up with that one specifically. So I am out on that one. But what are you showing me? Do you have a
So
near?
I have seen the movie. I didn't love it, but I still liked it enough to give it a positive review. I love David Cronenberg type big swings, and I think he's getting at some important points with that extreme concept. So it did get a fresh review from me. And then they sent this.
Yeah.
I'll be the most awkward person in the world wearing this shirt out in public. Like,
I'll happily wear that in public.
Most people would, and like, what's the big deal? It's fine. But like, if I ever put this shirt on and go out in public, every moment that I'm out of my apartment, I will be like big red cheeks. Like, but even cooler. This to me is an example of a really good mailer for a movie because it's very clever and it's also like kind of useful, although I'm not using it for the reasons that like the movie uses these things. So they sent us this. Oh, I have shit coming out of it. It's like what do they call it? Oh, there's like that little card thingy too. It's like a survival type kit with like tools in it. But it's like, it's legit something that makes sense for the movie, but it's also something that I have a reason to keep on hand and like maybe use one day. I'm pretty sure it's like legit. Like it's meant to actually be used and it's not just a plaything.
I would hope that it's meant to be used and they gave you a functioning gauze kit. Did
you see the thing that the Neon Twitter account posted? They put a Crimes of the Future spin on the children's game Operation, and it's very, very funny. I feel like, let me just look it up and I'll drop it in the live chat because it was a very clever post there.
Yeah, no, that was very good. And it does look exactly like the game Operation, like the cartoonish nature of it all, but they did just tweak it a little bit to...
And of course it says surgery is sex on
surgery is sex.
Big old bold letters. Wow, they tweet a lot.
Yeah, they do tweet a lot.
Way back to get to this.
Just as another topic to cover very quickly, congratulations, internet. We get to see Morbius again.
Oh God, I can't believe that's happening.
Internet.
I don't think it did well. I saw
it did. It bombed. It was 80. The average per screen was $82.
I just shared the neon thing for Crimes of the Future. What was it like? Morbius is in more screens right now than Fantastic Beasts. I almost just merged the two titles. The Secrets of Am I saying the right title? I almost said The Crimes of Dumbledore, and it's The Crimes of Grindelwald.
I mean,
I covered it heavily. Why am I messing this up? But anyway, Morbius is in more theaters than that, and it still made less money. So, the average. You really think a meme was going to change that?
The average per screen was $82 per screen. Literally they re-released it to make $82 per screen.
Oh, God.
That is so bad.
That's rough.
But I mean, if we're talking about RRR and the power that promoting the movies that we love has, there is also another effect where if you meme something back into existence, but it's the stupidity of the studio to think that us making fun of Morbius is actually us wanting to see it again. Like that was just a interesting interpretation of what was happening.
Yeah. I mean, I'll have to see it eventually just so I can be in on the joke, I guess.
You don't though. Like that's the thing. Like this is it's the same thing I'll say about the first Venom. I think the first Venom is very forgettable. And it was weird at the time, but Venom Let There Be Carnage is the weird ass Venom movie everyone says the original is. Like the first Venom is just dull and introduces a few good elements that the second one takes to a crazy degree. And it's still not a good movie, but at least it goes bonkers batshit crazy. Morbius is that step backwards where it feels more like the first Venom and that it's just a forgettable nothing burger of a movie.
Okay. You're right. Nothing burgers are not my favorite burgers, so I will pass on that.
We don't need nothing burgers.
But I will take Caleb's super chat because I'm getting very excited about fantasy football. It's right around the corner, Matt.
It is. We also skipped one, so we just remember to go back.
I'll go back. I'll go back.
Yeah.
I'll use Caleb's super chat as an opportunity to promote the Patreon because I guess this is actually the case. if you want to sign up for the Patreon Fantasy Football League, you would have to sign up for that tier in July.
Okay.
And everyone who signs up in July will be playing, because at the end of August, we'll likely be needing to converse about when to draft and all that stuff. So you would have to sign up in July. And, everyone out there who's already part of it, you know who you are. So you'll all be in the mix, and then we'll have some spots open for a couple other players. It was so much fun. Christy is our current champ. I've got a lot of faith. She's gonna keep the bar that high. It makes me nervous next season, but I'm determined to have a better draft than I did last year.
Yeah, I had such a hot start to the season last year. Or no, actually, I lost my first 3, and then I went on like a crazy win streak, and I thought it was going to sustain. And like the last 2 weeks, I messed it. I had the right lineup in. No one played well, so I'm coming back with a vengeance.
I lost so many games by less than a point, like a fraction of a point last year. I was just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah, all right, here's the one I missed. It was Hoshi. How you doing, my friend? Hi, Perri and Matt. Great show as always. What is your opinion on the Winnie the Pooh horror movie? Really looking forward to Black Phone. Men was okay. I am also pumped for Black Phone. Matt is the cool person in the room who has seen it. You've seen it before, and now you're allowed to write your review. I am seeing it on Thursday, so I'll be able to share thoughts soon. Winnie the Pooh horror movie. They released a trailer, right?
Not like stills. They released stills for it.
Was it just stills?
I believe so. I don't think we've gotten a full trailer.
I don't know why I thought there was like a trailer or something that I watched, and I'm like, I don't know about this.
Well, so I mean, here's the thing. It's a bonkers ass few stills that come out because you have, the Winnie the Pooh IP is now public domain. People can do whatever they want with it. So this looks like just some dudes in masks that look vaguely like Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. And I think they say that like Eeyore's been cannibalized. So like Eeyore can't be used, but he's going to be like on a gravestone. And I don't think they can use Tigger either. Like there's weird rules about like what characters they can and can't use. But in any case, people are saying it looks like You're Next in the way that like invaders and animal masks. Yeah, invaders and animal masks are coming into a house. But what we have to remember here is like this is going to be a super low budget indie horror flick, and it's probably going to be terrible.
I did watch the trailer, Matt.
You did? Okay.
I don't know if this is official, but I'll at least drop in the chat what I watched, because let me just make sure that it's actually the right thing before I send it out. But
because I think Spartan said it's just stills.
I don't like, again, I can't be certain that this is.
So it's Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, right?
Not. Yeah, that I mean that's what this says. It says this is not correct, but I definitely watched something that made me think that it didn't look great. I think these are trailers. Maybe I shouldn't be judging based on this.
Yeah. And the thing that we have to think about too is the director. So like those stills blew up. They went viral because yes, Winnie the Pooh horror movie, IGN broke it first basically, and it just like went crazy. So everyone got hyped on it. Again, it's going to be super low budget. It's going to be like one of those indie horror movies I watch and nobody else does. So like, I think people are going to be really disappointed by it. And I hope I'm wrong. It's fun. But also the director has been like interviewed like crazy now because of those stills. And he's done a lot of stuff. And I think he said to Variety, which makes me pause, he realizes everyone's hyped for it right now. So his mentality is to edit as quickly as possible and get it out to the public as quickly as possible. So that especially, I'm like, he knows that he has his movie in a moment where it has to hit.
No, so it doesn't though.
I agree with you.
But does, like, even if that's his mentality, this hype isn't going to last long enough for him to maximize it by releasing it ASAP. He might as well take his time with it and actually deliver a good movie, because that hype will come back, or at least a fraction of it. But I don't even think it's worth trying to rush it out, because you're not going to rush it out fast enough to catch this wave.
Yeah. In any case, I mean, I'm going to review it and watch it. But in any case, it's expectations are still very low for this one.
I'll watch it too. I mean, I'll just go through my thought process on it. When I saw the stills, I thought the stills looked really good. Like I like the lighting, and you know, I'm also often amused by the idea of taking things made for children and putting horror spins on them. Yeah. But then I watched that trailer and I don't know if it's legit or not, but something about it made it look not right to me and it's put that bug in my head. But maybe that's not fair because maybe I did not see a legit promo for the movie and should not be judging it from that.
Yeah, no, that's it is all very fair, and I hope it comes out in the correct way. That's the only thing I can say. I just hope it comes out the way that will get the most people excited about it.
We shall see. We shall see. Is there anything to hit before you have to bounce?
We're just talking about our schedule. That's coming later.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm interested. So
Landon, right?
That is Mr. Landon. Mr. Landon is a confessed spider hater. He is terrified of spiders. So I'm very curious to see how he tackles this. But did you see the, I guess there would be technically the concept art of the posters they used to pitch?
No. Can you send that?
So Creepy Duck, yeah. Let me see if I... Creepy Duck, who is a Twitter user and also like just an artist that does a lot of these, he's got high profile that he can do things with Christopher Landon's and stuff like that. He made 2 of the posters. Hold on, give me 1 second while I look for it.
Okay. I'll bring this one up in the meantime. King Sport Cal, thank you for the super chat. I watched Fresh last night. I thought it was crazy how the title card came in like 30 minutes in. It was good. Have y'all seen it? Matt, no vacuuming? You're not home, so you are free and clear of the hallway vacuum this time. I did quite like Fresh though. I like Fresh.
Landon is just tweeting out pictures of spiders now. Fuck him.
Oh God.
Sorry, I'm just scrolling through his Twitter.
I'm surprised I haven't seen it, but I was a fan of Fresh. I think those 2 lead performances are quite good, and I just like the style and the vibe of the movie, and I thought they played into the concept quite well. Did you see Fresh, Matt?
I did. It? I thought Fresh was fun. Yeah, I think it plays in the same way that you said. I think it kind of falls apart a little bit at the end. I don't love the way it kind of wraps itself up, but I think the stuff in between is incredibly good, and like Sebastian Stan just playing a psycho I like.
He is having quite the year.
I'm still looking for these posters. I don't understand how they're so hard to find. Like they were so easy to find like a few days ago.
We have another super chat.
Yep, keep hitting them.
Sam. Hey Sam, how you doing? Wish I had a question this week, but haven't been able to come up with one. Want to give my usual support, though. Your usual support is so greatly appreciated. So thank you for being here and for doing that, Sam. Have you seen Emergency?
I did. I liked it.
I still have to watch it. That's one of those ones where I keep getting emails about it, and I just can't find the damn time, but I really want to watch it.
It's so good. So I just think it's really good the way that it plays. It's a buddy college comedy, but it also really does well with being social commentary. Like it's able to make you laugh at the stuff that you're allowed to laugh at in a way that recalls a better kind of view on the road trips and American Pies that have now gone way out of date. But then it just hits you with a sucker punch. It's this weird amalgamation of like American Pie and Blind Spotting, and it meets in the middle that is very respectful and like modernized. And I think it's very good. And I don't see anyone talking about it.
Okay. Maybe I'll check it out and maybe I'll talk about it. Did you find what you were looking for?
I think he deleted them. I don't see them anymore.
Okay.
I don't know why they would delete them. Maybe they got yelled at by the studio.
That's
but
possible.
In any case, the one that really stuck out for me, it's 2 posters. And one of the posters is just an extreme close-up on the side of someone's head, and like a spider is half crawling out of their ear. And the other one it's kind of like you're looking at an x-ray of someone from the chest up, and their lungs are filled with tiny spiders. So like by those 2 posters alone, it makes it look like they're really going to play with like the body horror elements of like an arachnophobia, where, the one that we saw was kind of more about bites and people dying from them. If these 2 posters that Creepy Duck designed that were used for the selling of it, I think we might be getting a really fucking creepy body horror, invasive horror take on arachnophobia.
I wonder if this has the designs in there.
Yeah, because like they were right on Twitter. Christopher Landon put them out right there, but like
it's been taken down.
It has been. So that's why I bet the studio was like, you can't show these. What are you doing?
I get it. You know, the news gives one layer of hype, and then you got to keep building on it. So we'll wait, not so patiently.
This is good. Yeah.
Nice. I watched Emergency last week and loved it. Felt like if Jordan Peele made Superbad. Oh, yeah, that's like a good little pitch there.
And then Superbad and Blind Spotting. Yeah. I can't. No argument there. Zero.
We've also got Ian. Ian, thank you for the super chat. Been stuck in my house for the past week, so I'm seeing the Bob's Burgers movie today. Matt, you really liked it, right?
It's so good. I mean, it's kind of the way the Simpsons were able to just translate so easy to screen. Bob's does the same thing, and maybe this is a Fox thing, but it's just an elongated episode of Bob's Burgers that maintains all the heart, all the puns, everything you like about watching the show, and it does it on a bigger scale, let's say. But it's still Bob's. Like, they're not doing anything that they wouldn't do in a normal episode, and they've just found a way to elongate it and make it. It's so loving. I just love that show.
I want to circle back and watch it. I meant to, and then I think that's when I had COVID, and I couldn't go to my screening. So there's my excuse.
That's real.
As we wind this down, we should emphasize that next week's episode is going to be a very special episode. And I'm not going to give you the specifics on why, but I'll tell you it's because we're giving away something really cool. So we need to figure out the logistics of exactly how we're going to give those things away. But I will tell you, in order to win one, you'll need to be watching the stream live with us. So be prepared to tune in next Friday night when we'll both be in the same room and going live at 7:30 Pacific. So mark that down if you want to win cool shit.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good plug, right?
Yeah. No.
What else do you want to plug before we sign off?
I am a mess of a human. Follow me at Donato as I try to survive New Orleans and figure out my life.
That was a great plug. I would follow you based on that. Yeah.
Did that work?
I don't have anything as spicy as that, but I will tell you to keep an eye out for a new episode of Ladies Night with DeWanda Wise for Jurassic World Dominion. Matt, it was the first time that I was actually able to use this Jurassic Park inspired dice tower with an actual cast member from the Jurassic movie. It was a very, very special moment, but she's super cool. You know what else she told me about? I'll post this story before I post her full Ladies Night interview. She was originally signed on to star in Captain Marvel as Maria Rambeau, and she had to drop out. And you know what happens when someone does that is everyone on the internet makes assumptions about what happened and all this shit. And like she gives like an honest from the heart, play by play of how how they came to that decision, how it felt to go through something like that. And I'll share that clip soon. She was an excellent interview.
That's awesome.
All right. That's it. Go enjoy the festival, Matt. Eat lots of food and do share pictures of all of that food.
I will. I do.
All right.
That's what I do.
Till next time, everyone. Goodbye.